So, all right, first we're going to do is start with 1 box of just classic yellow cake mix. I always kind of walk through the aisle, the cake mix aisle of the grocery store, and if they are on sale, buy a few boxes. You never know when you're going to need them. Now, you don't want to follow the directions on the back of the box. You want to follow my recipe. So, 1 box of the yellow cake mix. This is really moist. It's just going to be delicious, and it's going to have some fun flavor. The other thing I try and keep on hand are just box pudding mixes. There are just so many different things you can do with them. If the kids want a quick last-minute dessert, you know, chocolate pudding, you can't go wrong with that. So I have a little shelf in my pantry where I've just got a whole bunch of different, you know, box pudding mixes. So this recipe calls for 1 box of instant, and that's really important, pistachio pudding. I grew up with pistachio pudding back in the day. We used to have it all the time. That and butterscotch, and those are 2 flavors you don't see very often. Ann says she loves butterscotch pudding. I know. So do I. It's so good. Okay, now we've got 4 eggs. This is going to keep this cake really nice and moist. Let's see if I can crack these without getting a shell in here. So far, so good. I'm living on the edge today. I probably should be cracking them in a bowl, but all right. Perfect. I don't see one in there. Yay. Now, here's another thing that's going to make this really nice and moist. I've got actually some sour cream, and that's another trick to add to some of your cake mixes to just keep it, you know, nice and moist. 1 cup of sour cream, and then 1/2 cup of oil, just regular vegetable oil. This is going to make a nice big cake, and it's a really pretty color too. With the pistachio pudding, it's a nice light green color. So no water. In place of the water, we use the sour cream. It's going to be a thick batter, so don't worry about it. So it's really nice and smooth. And I just want to get it all incorporated. It takes a little bit longer to mix together than a regular box cake mix. And I'm always looking for all of your recipes. I love hearing from you and getting your recipes. I really do. But in particular today we're talking about breakfast and brunch recipes. So if you have any good ones, please email them to us, share, or if you have any good favorite breakfast places. Later in the show, we're going to go out for breakfast and take you to a few different places. In particular, one of my favorite little coffee places. But we're always looking for your ideas, and you know, even if it's just nothing fancy, just a little mom and pop coffee shop or a little hole in the wall. Those are some of my favorite places. So please share and let me know. Love going out for my husband Bob and I. Sometimes we do well, on the weekends, you know, when the kids are sleeping in. We'll sneak out and do a coffee date and just go out for coffee and read the paper. And really, to me these days, it's all about the little things sometimes rather than the big fancy trips and vacations. It's just, you know, taking a moment to just catch up on the week and have a nice cup of coffee and get some breakfast. All right, so again, I'm spraying. This is a nice big pretty loaf pan. But if you have like a bundt pan, you can also do this in a bundt pan. And if you have just the regular sized loaf pans, it will make 2 of those, but this is a big one, so we're going to get my spatula here. The whole cake mix and the ingredients will go in this really nicely. So you could also, this makes a nice gift. I think that if new neighbors come into the neighborhood, or you need to bring a treat into the office, they have those mini loaves. I actually have a pan that has 4 mini loaf pans. I'll bring that sometime. It's pretty cool. I picked it up, and that's great if you've got to, make gifts or for a bake sale. This is a great one for a bake sale. You can do the mini loaves. So see how nice and thick and creamy this batter turns out, and that's really how the cake turns out too. This is going to take a while to bake. Now, depending on your oven and depending the size loaves you're doing, 350 degrees, and in this pan, this took a good 40 to 50 minutes. Now, if you're doing it in individual loaf pans, it's probably done in about a half hour or so. Bundt pan, anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes. No frosting, this just doesn't need it. You could certainly do a glaze if you want with, powdered sugar and a little bit of milk. But it's nice and sweet, and it tastes great, and it's so moist as is. That's why I love these, because they're just quick, and you don't even need a frosting. They're that good. So let me show you what it looks like. And it smells really good, and it's just something a little different than banana bread or, regular coffee cake, and I think everyone's really going to love it. Fun to do for St. Patrick's Day, being that it's green, or it's nice to do for spring too. So there you go. It's my pistachio loaf. I'm going to let it cool and then slice it up a little bit, and ooh, is it good. Doesn't even need butter, and pretty much everything's better with butter, but this doesn't even need it. It's just that good. Recipes on the website. You can also pick it up at an area Festival Foods.